CLSP Politics, Sean Briscoe speaking. So I got polling. It's always fun when we get polling data. Lots of good news, actually. Fields expanding and all that. Let's get to it. So, first thing I'd like to point out is Michigan. Uh, Again, we're seeing this cap, this 46% that Trump just cannot get over. And what's interesting is it's across the board. He's 46 in Pennsylvania. He's 46 in Wisconsin. That is just a ceiling that he cannot penetrate, and I am not upset about it. We're also looking at, Florida, which blows my mind because I was there in 22 when DeSantis was running for governor, and I will say this: the DeSantis won by like 19 and a half points, right? Huge blowout. And everyone's like, oh, the Democratic Party's not, there's nothing left in Florida, blah, blah, blah. Well, in reality, though, he outspent the Democrats 19, 20 to 1. My favorite fact was this: his budget for Hispanic radio, just Hispanic radio, was as much as the Democrats' entire media budget. So by the time the Democrats got any money, there were no more spots to buy. He had bought everything. I knew somebody who worked on that campaign, and he was like, if there was any real estate on the digital television, whatever, on the side of a bus, there was any real estate, and they could come up with any BS reason to get it, they could just get it. There was no consideration for anything. It was pretty crazy. They also moved a bunch of states from leaning R to toss up. Love to see that. Really expands the field quite a bit. Here, let me put that up. So we're looking at Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia. These are all important states, and the fact that they're toss-ups. Nevada is not so much of a huge surprise. This was last week, so we've seen a lot of change. I mean, honestly, it's like I could do one of these polling things every day, and what I'm doing is I'm just trying to compress like 3 or 4, 5, 6 days into one report because it'd be ridiculous. But those are great states. Happy to see them tossing. I'm pretty sure that we're going to see more do that. I just want to give everyone a quick idea what the Senate looks like right now. So needless to say, Wyoming, Montana, Connecticut, and Vermont, they're the ones that everyone's paying attention to. We're currently 51 seats. We got to hold Senate. If you want Kamala to get anything done, anything at all, judge appointments, you name it, you got to at least get the Senate. And keep in mind, I've talked about this before on a couple other shows. The 50%, when the Republicans control 50% of the Senate, they represent like 38% of the population. So, we have a much heavier lift than they do to get to 50. We have to get, and we're in the high 60 percentile as far as what amount of voters and just people and turf we've got to control to maintain control of the Senate. It's a much heavier lift for us. And no one said that politics was fair, and this is probably the least fair part of the electoral math that we have to deal with. It sucks, but we're up for it. We've done it before, so this is probably one of the more important things that I've seen. Every time abortion's been on the ballot, we've won. We're like 13 for 13 in this state. In this country. So That means that like Florida should Florida is going to be one of those states where everyone's going to be watching, and if they see a lot of women voting, um, then the Republicans are going to start crying early in the day, if you know what I mean, because that's East Coast and polls will close there first, and then we'll start seeing numbers, and DeSantis will unleash his little nonsense machine to try and postpone the inevitable, but it would be inevitable if they see a high women turnout in that vote. And then you've got, Nevada and Arizona. Happy to see those guys. Colorado, well, also Montana, big Senate election up there. So that will definitely help when they get theirs on the ballot. So MSNBC was reporting this yesterday. So I thought this was definitely worth talking about. I also like to talk about rockets. I know it's not polling, but man, this is super important. When I get asked about Obama Dallas on occasion and what we were able to do back in 08, I always point out we had 6,000 volunteers. And you can quote me because I've said it 1,000 times. You give me 6,000 volunteers, I'll knock anything you want. I'll turn any election you want. So when she goes into these swing states and is able to generate 5,000 volunteers, I mean, just to give you an idea, let's say they all knock on one door. That's the equivalent of so it's gonna be close to 25 grand. Just one door knock. Just one, they're knocking on one door. It's $25,000. So you can imagine if you can get these teams out and they're knocking on a couple hundred doors, what kind of impact that can have. For one, it's money you don't have to spend there. You can spend, you can buy some radio, buy some more TV, maybe do a couple more events, get some more coordination, but put some more staff in so you can coordinate those volunteers better. It's a place you can spend that money and have a real impact. So when these volunteers go out and knock on doors or even make phone calls, they're doing like an in kind to the campaign many times what they would normally be able to donate as an individual. So these volunteers are incredibly important, and I cannot stress it enough. It really is how these campaigns are able to pull it all together. So that's kind of my report. Lots of good news, lots of interesting news, and I think lots of news that bodes well for the future. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. If you want to support the work I'm doing on this channel is a PayPal, CLSP Politics. All donations are appreciated. Keeps power on, keeps the internet going. So I hope everyone has a good Tuesday or Wednesday, and just stay strong, everyone. All right, later.